Hi, CistReactZ. How you doing? Did you know that 70% of you guys are not subscribed? Also, did you know that I am living in those 70%'s walls right now, and if you want me to stop, you'll hit that subscribe button? What is up, you awesome kisters? It is CistReactZ, guys. Today we're reacting to the Lost Art of Five Nights at Freddy's teasers. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to Mina AXA, and comment down below. Alright guys, let's get into this bop.
On August 8th, 2014, Scott Cawthon released Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yes, sir.
a horror game that has turned into one of the biggest video game franchises of all time.
For real, for real.
It's been
Oh, the
praised
FNAF Plus
time
shot.
and time again for its unique take on horror gameplay and deep lore, and I'm sure many of you already know how the story goes. However, many fans
Some of
the
us really
series
don't,
may
though.
not remember the
Even if we
hype
think
that
we do.
surrounded the release of the earlier
Yo,
games, either through
Razvasky.
having forgotten
Foxy
or just having not
jumps?
been around at that time. I personally was in middle school, and I actually remember when there was only one game. In this video,
Bro, I can
wanna
only
take a
remember
trip down
from the
memory
second
lane
game
and
forward.
recall the genius way that Scott Cawthon created hype for his new releases through his teasers on his websites. This is the lost art of Five Nights at Freddy's teasers.
Oh, snap.
After the release of Five Nights at Freddy's, the game would quickly explode in popularity, with Markiplier covering the game mere days after its initial
Hello, everybody.
release.
My name is Markiplier.
Scott very quickly realized that he had something with this game, that this was his chance to finally capitalize and become the successful game developer that he had always wanted to be. So he got to work. A little over a month after
Yeah, that man put in the work. He was grinding for real, for real.
In September of 2014, he posted a new image to his website, and this
Grand
is where
reopening.
it all began.
Man.
Grand reopening 2015 with a big red 2. Nobody had expected a sequel to be in development so quickly, let alone to come out just the next year, which was already approaching. Another thing to note is that people realized pretty quickly that Freddy in this model is not exactly the same. It's vaguely familiar, but there's a lot of slightly different features. This already began to raise some eyebrows, and the community got to theory crafting. Just
Can you
about a
imagine
week
the
later,
weird
towards the end of
theories
September,
back
Scott
then
would
when we had,
already
like, no
drop another
lore
teaser,
information
which
to work
exposed
with.
a lot more about what the
That should be a
game
video
might
that's
entail.
covered.
Something borrowed, something new. Now we understand why the Freddy in the first image was sorta disheveled. We're introduced to a brand new character for the first time, which may not seem like a big deal now with how many that we have in this huge cast, but back then this was major.
That Loki goes hard. Something
We only
borrowed, something
had the
new.
original 4 and Golden Freddy, but now that we could maybe even guess there would be a whole set of new characters. Yet again, within the next week, Scott would upload the next teaser. It showed the Pirate Cove curtains and another
Oh yeah, the
insert
famous
of the
Foxy
2,
and Mangle.
and the new Foxy animatronic, thus confirming the previous suspicions of a whole new set of characters. People noticed pretty quickly that, interestingly, this new Foxy didn't really seem to be the same gender as the old one, but I'm not even going to try to talk about that
What
today.
is Mangle's gender?
At this point, it was pretty known that this would be a weekly thing, with the next teaser, No Place to Run, and Exactly One Place to Hide, being released around October 16th.
The mask,
In my
bro.
opinion, this was probably the craziest and most revealing teaser of them all, and this one got me and most of the community the most hyped. There's a lot that you can interpret here. This is the first time
Bros
that we
probably
got to
thought
see
we were
the
playing as
Office, though
animatronics.
Obviously, we had no way of knowing that this was the Office. And it also introduced us to Withered Foxy for the first time and the mask mechanic. Two more things that were more on the speculative side was that some people were even guessing that there's no doors because of the text, which is an obvious enough assumption, and the light also made people think that maybe a flashlight mechanic was being introduced. And some people even thought that we'd be hiding inside of an entire suit, which would have been kinda cool, but
Yeah.
in retrospect obviously wouldn't work.
True
Then
that.
we'd roll into November, and then
Imagine if we had to
nearly
hide in a
month would
Springlock
pass with
suit
no
and a
new
Fred
teaser.
Bears one.
In this time,
If they ever
we'd
make
received
one.
a trailer, which is probably what Scott was busy working on, so the theory crafting was still in full swing.
Five Nights at
The
Freddy's
game
2
was
trailer,
looking pretty
no
good,
thumbnail.
and with how finished and polished it already looked, it seemed like a January 2015 release could be assumed. Then, this teaser dropped.
Coming
At
out
first, it
literally
doesn't seem
tomorrow.
like much,
Oh,
but
okay.
when brightened,
Oh, the puppet.
though the more popular term would later be the puppet.
I miss
upon
teasers
reveal,
that you would have to brighten
definitely
up
the
for
popular
more
name
messages.
was the marionette.
Feeling nostalgic,
We
man.
got to see our first look at the game's map, and we're left to theorize what the hell this warning sign even meant. This is the last teaser that we'd receive before the game's release, and with the 2015 release date, it would surely be at least 2 months till we'd get the game in January.
November 11, 2014.
Not even a week
Bro, Scott
after
really
FNAF
pulled that
2 dropped,
trigger.
Scott would update his page to this offline picture, possibly signifying that he was done for the time being and that people should just enjoy the new game. With the release of this game, it was clear upon completing it that it was not a sequel, but actually a prequel, which almost nobody saw coming.
Is FNAF 2 a prequel?
Until the end of the first week of
8-bit
December,
game.
it would be radio silence from Scott. That is, until he updated his page to display.
It's been a while since I've been on the 8-bit gaming
Now,
channel.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if
Offline
Scott ever
3.
intended to release FNAF 2 in 2015 or not, or if he just lied purposefully to generate hype through the expectation subversion. But it was clear that
he was
knew
always
how to
just a
capitalize
troll.
on this series' hype, because this was big. But for the rest of December, he changed it to just say Merry Christmas, and that was it for this month.
Remy Criminal.
Then, right after the new year, we would get this new image.
I am still here.
This didn't really look like any character we'd ever seen before. The popular guesses were Foxy,
yes, the good old
Golden Freddy,
hybrids.
or maybe even Fredbear, who we learned about in the previous game. Many assumed Fredbear or Golden Freddy because it kind of fit with the text, "I am still here," but we still didn't really know what that meant at the time. A lot of people also quickly realized that the strange eyes didn't share with any other character that we knew so far. They were
Golden
almost
Freddy? Veins and
human-looking.
skin?
People also tried to flip half of the face to get a clearer picture, and yeah, in retrospect, that didn't really help very much. This is really goofy looking.
Yeah.
A week and a half later, we
It
get
looks
our
like
next
Springtrap
FNAF 3
with a
teaser,
wide lens
which
in front of
showed
him.
the scrapped remains of the toy animatronics. This essentially confirmed that it would take place at least after FNAF 2.
It's worth mentioning we also
The
had a
image was
30 years
named
later
What
event.
Can We Use, which implied
Oh,
that the parts
yeah.
for these new animatronics were being retrofitted, maybe for use in
Man,
another
Scott used to really name
animatronic,
those
but nobody
PNGs
really
for us
knew
too.
what
That's
that meant.
crazy.
When the image was brightened, we finally got a better look at our new animatronic. People were pretty quick to assume that it was a Bonnie costume, and not everybody was convinced yet, but it was pretty much
definitely right.
universal. After only 2 teasers, on January 26th, the trailer would drop. This trailer would reveal a lot less compared to the second game, and throughout the trailer, there was text that read, "He will come back, he always does. We have a place for him." Which would then reveal a small
Why does he
cutscene
always
of the
come back,
character
man?
convulsing, also confirming the Bonnie costume suspicions because of the ears. Though some people at some point, for whatever reason, thought that this character might be a hybrid or whatever. Yeah, I don't really know what the community was
the
smoking
theories,
between FNAF
man.
2 and 3, so I'm just gonna pretend like that didn't happen.
Too golden.
The day after the trailer dropped, Scott would change his website to display the text "He always does" from the trailer.
Sorry to sit at my desk and
except
exit.
in purple. This kind of siphoned the theories into the right direction, as many people thought that it was originally referring to maybe the phone guy or some other characters, but now it was clear.
I can't
the
believe
text
there was a day and
referring
age
to
where we thought the phone
purple
guy was evil.
the child murderer, who we found out more about in the previous game's minigames. Then he would change the website back to the previous teaser the next day. On February 3rd, Scott would upload a picture of the map for FNAF 3, which, when brightened, would reveal a vent system connecting the map. On February 15th, Scott would make
crazy.
a post on Steam titled "Early Beta Testing Successful," which would reveal the new character's name, Springtrap, in an Easter egg on the post. Another Steam post
My
on
name is
that day
Springtrap.
claimed that he was hacked, and it would lead to a GameJolt link that would appear to be the actual full FNAF 3 game, but it was just a troll. The first
Oh, yeah.
of many trolls. Thanks, Scott.
I miss that troll
Very
game,
cool.
man.
A
Forgot what it
month
was
after the
called.
previous teaser, Scott would release 2 teasers within 2 days, showing off the Phantom animatronics for the first time.
Guess who?
Which were retextured models of previous characters
all
that we
in your
were already
mind.
familiar with. The Balloon Boy one had a giant number 10 on it, which Daco immediately assumed was a countdown.
But if you brighten it up, guys, there's a 10. There's a freaking 10 there,
Nah,
which means
because this is doing Daco dirty. That's crazy.
I don't know. Is going to be
Holy hell, he sounds so
It
young.
probably was a countdown, at least.
So
first.
enthusiastic.
Scott emailed many popular YouTubers with early demo versions of the game to show off, another genius marketing decision on his part, and rather than adhering to this alleged countdown, Scott just said,
"Screw it.
I'm kidding, it's actually gonna come out tomorrow."
March 2nd, 2015. Scott's so weird, man.
Following the release of the third game, the website would update to a spotlight shining down on a Freddy hat, and it seemed like this time Scott was really done. This was his final goodbye to the beloved fan base that he had nurtured, and the story
And
was
then the
finally
hat
complete.
disappeared. Yep.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, my memories are starting to like come together for this
Scott had
one.
planned a 3-game
It's the time-
trilogy, but the
This is the
simple
time where I
fact of the matter
came.
was that people weren't happy with the jump scare. This alone drove him to make a 4th game, allowing him to clarify some lore in the process. Once the hat vanished, the community was
terrified.
In flames. It had hardly been any time since the drop of the 3rd game, so this was just crazy. Even though this seemed to be the trend, people were never going to get used to this. Then we got this.
The final chapter, which was never the final chapter.
Terrifying rendition of Freddy Fazbear, who may have been the one to pick up the hat. The text reads, "The final chapter."
Oh, I never thought about it like that. Holy hell.
2015.
Wow,
If
yeah.
the image was brightened
'Cause
and had its contrast
he's actually holding
increased,
it.
we would see the word nightmare across the bottom of the
This is why
screen,
Mina's a goat.
which led people
I never
to call
thought about
these
it like
the Nightmare
that.
Animatronics, a name that would stick. A week and a half later, Nightmare Bonnie. There was new text.
Was it me?
Was it me? Which was immediately connected to the Bite of 87, the tragic event detailed in the first game that still has people kind of scratching their heads to this day. On May 16th, which is actually my birthday,
It's crazy how
we
my
got
head started to
Chica.
itch as soon as he said
On
that.
29th of May, Foxy. Then on June 11th, this. It was sort of similar to the first Spotlight and Freddy hat
It
image,
is.
but this time they were purple, and it was a bow tie. There's only one animatronic with a purple hat and a bow tie that we know of so far. In the bottom right corner, when brightened, there was partially occluded text, but people were
Property of
able to figure
Fredbear's
out very
Family
quickly
Diner.
that it says property of Fredbear's Family Diner. From there, people quickly theorized that this game may serve to clarify what exactly Fredbear's was and what had happened there, since it was mentioned offhandedly by the phone guy in FNAF 2. Then, June 25th, this image. If you went into the source code of the website,
Nightmare.
yes, seriously, Scott was giving us teasers through the HTML of his goddamn website, which would actually end up being a normal occurrence. There was text that read, GS.
The stress I felt in that voice is crazy.
But
Wait,
if the
what?
letters were all moved back by one letter in the alphabet, which
Never
is
seen
called
this
a
one.
Caesar cipher, apparently, we would
Caesar
get
cipher?
Fredbear.
The FNAF fans are weird. I would have never solved that as a
we
kid.
were welcomed to a mini version of Springtrap named Plush Trap.
Didn't even know what a
another
Caesar
thing found
cipher
to the
was till
code,
today.
With the text, "Terrible things come in small packages." 4 days later, the trailer would be dropped. Then, like before,
There it
Scott
is,
started
the
sending
famous
copies
trailer.
out to YouTubers through email for playtesting. Keep in mind, it was still late July, and the game had a projected release date of Halloween.
3
Then
months
he
away,
released it
and then
10
he...
days after the trailer dropped on July 23rd.
Yeah, I remember that. Dude, I remember, like, running to the
Then
computer to
Scott
buy a
updated the
copy.
page to say,
Oh my
"The
god.
end. Thanks for playing."
That's
Then on
insane.
August 2nd, it
Tell
was
me your
updated
FNAF
to
memories if you
include
made it this far.
every animatronic from every game so far, and it really seemed
FNAF
like
world.
the absolutely perfect send-off for the series. This was it. Wait a minute, what the hell is that thing? Okay, so eventually every character was updated to this like cute, like chibi
Yeah,
art
Scott
style
was
or
so
whatever.
busy.
And he announced that it would be
He
Five
didn't
Nights at
sleep,
Freddy's
man.
World,
There's no
and
way
we
he
got our
did.
Tentative 2016 release date, apparently for real this time. Then, leading up to the original Halloween 2015 release date for FNAF 4, Scott began to tease the upcoming Halloween DLC for that game.
See you soon.
After the release of the trailer for FNAF World, Scott updated his website on November 2nd to include this picture.
Mangle hanging themselves. Dude, that was crazy when that
says,
dropped. Everyone was
see
just
what you've all
terrified.
done. To this day, no one's completely sure what Scott meant by this. Some people theorized it may have been a reflection of Scott's mental health following the backlash for FNAF World.
Yikes.
But we'll never really know. Later, it was changed to this weird balloon boy head that was kind of cut off.
What the hell?
thingy.
Madness.
And it says, "Madness takes many forms." Some people think that this implies the previous post was just a way to set the tone for darker hidden themes in FNAF World, and it was just taken a little too far too quickly.
Yeah.
His website was briefly changed to advertise the release of the first FNAF book, The Silver Eyes,
FNAF
and later was
Silver
changed
Eyes.
to another Christmas
Dang!
message like the previous year. He would release FNAF World on January 21st.
Like, all this happened,
which
like,
is
7 to
funny
8
because
years
he had
ago,
made a
but it
Steam
feels
post
like
that day saying
happened
he was gonna post
yesterday.
it tomorrow. But we all know at this point he's terrible with release dates. But hey, at least it actually was in 2016. The game's initial reception was kinda meh, and he would update the game later several times and also make it free, as shown on the FNAFworld.com
W
website.
Scott moment.
But on ScottGames.com, something far more mysterious was happening.
Is it the eyes of the... Oh, wait. I'm a little too far on my
Lines.
teasers.
Just
This is CistReactZ
lines.
stuff.
I mean, what the
always
hell
forget
does that
CistReactZ.
even mean?
Even though I don't hate the game.
On February 26th, an I and an N were added, so now, I mean, we can assume it was supposed to spell something out, but with only 2 letters, we still had no clue. On April 23rd, 2016, Scott was finally tired of trolling millions of people, so he updated it to the full teaser, which was Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, with a brand new
There was never
humanoid
just one.
animatronic in the background, and the text, "There was never just one." On May 16th, oh boy, my birthday again, we got a new teaser showing
I should
off
really,
the new
like,
animatronic fully.
look at the old
Just
videos of
5
people
days
reacting to
after that, we got
trailers.
the game's
I wanna see
trailer
people
and
lose their
received another
minds.
teaser on June 17th, which said, "There's a little of me in every body," and showed this really weird looking animatronic. We would find out later that this is Ennard, and this definitely helped to clarify Ennard pretty early on, so thanks for that, Scott. Once again, the website source code came into play, and we found a schedule of the animatronics. This implied that this wasn't really one set pizzeria or
How do y'all
restaurant
find these
location like
things?
the previous games, or maybe they were being rented out individually. Some more digging later
Scott really
showed
knew
that
some
there
smart
was an
people was in his
Afton
community.
Robotics text in the code, which was strange as well, because Afton was the stand-in name for the purple guy in the previously mentioned Silver Eyes book. On July 9th, we got to see the Biddy Babs, and then the next teaser, which
Don't
showed
hold
off
it
the
against
controlled
us.
shock mechanic, with the text, "Get back on your stage, now." When brightened, you can see these these tiny ballerina looking
That was
things
back there the
behind
whole
it.
time?
And they ended up being the Minarinas, so people guessed pretty correctly on that one. On the 2-year anniversary of Five Nights at Freddy's, on August 8th, 2016, Scott released a bunch of behind-the-scenes images onto his website, which I think is really cool.
I miss these.
About a week later, a Reddit post was made where the user had found and leaked the voice actors for the upcoming sister location game.
Oh, wow.
Well, the last time that copyrighted character names were leaked pretty recently, Scott didn't care at all, so it doesn't really seem like that'd be an issue.
Canceled due to leaks. Nice transition there.
Don't worry, this is another troll. It originally says canceled due to leaks, but you can see a snippet of a news article when the photo was edited that attributed the closing of Circus Baby's Pizza World to gas
Due
leaks.
to gas
So he
leaks,
just
yeah.
took this as an opportunity to add lore circumstantially, which is really funny. On the 27th of August, a new teaser would be posted with Ennard's mask.
Oh,
paired with
dude,
a
I remember
release
that
date.
one too,
Oh, boy.
man. 10, 7,
With some more
16.
source code digging, when 2 lines of text were taken from the code and pasted into the Scott Games URL, it would lead you to the map for sister location.
What?
Jesus, that is so specific. Which, when brightened, would reveal 2 secret rooms. Then on the 24th, Ennard was gone. On October 7th,
That's
just
insane.
as planned, sister location
I had the whole
was actually
map?
released directly on time for once. 10 days after the release on the 17th, a custom night
So
DLC
Sister
was
Location's probably the
released on
only
website.
game.
On the 27th of November,
That was released on
another
time.
teaser, with a
Custom
December
night.
1st release date that he also actually ended up adhering to. Perhaps Scott is now a changed man.
And he's
Then,
not.
For 6 months, radio silence.
Oh, wow.
Finally, on June 11th, 2017, fnafworld.com updated with this picture. Nobody
yeah.
was sure
Scrap,
exactly
baby.
what to make of it.
So that's what I was talking
On
about before,
Scott
the
Games,
Cish
the
location.
website was updated to
trailers.
include promotional art for the next-in-line FNAF book, The Twisted Ones. Now, come
That art
August,
goes crazy.
the 3rd anniversary of FNAF rolled around, and we got to see another set of behind-the-scenes images. Then,
Baby without
10
her
days
head,
later,
what the
on
heck?
the 18th, this
I don't remember
image
that one.
dropped. We didn't really know what it meant at the time, but it was art related to the next major installment in the series. Then a whole 2 months would pass, and the image would update. Meanwhile, on fnafworld.com, the eyes from before, they've closed. What is happening? Then, on December 1st, 2017, a year after the release of the Custom Night DLC for Sister Location, we'd get this teaser.
Security doors.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator coming soon. 2 days later, a gameplay teaser and a countdown.
Scott used to
It
make his
was
own
obvious to
Nintendo
most that
Directs
this was
for
just gonna be
later
another
games.
lighthearted game, kind
Or
of like
bring back
FNAF
Scott
World,
games.
as Scott had posted a few months prior that he was feeling very burnt out and exhausted. Then, the day after, he made an apology Steam post because he never intended for the minority, who were actually speculating it was going to be a bigger game, to get any hype. After apologizing, he released the game a day early, the next day. In classic Scott fashion, he had trolled everyone.
Yeah. It was just a whole packed
On
FNAF
February
game.
18th, 2 months later, he'd update the
Wait,
web
let me listen to that again.
again. In Scott fashion, he had trolled everyone. Again.
You can just hear
On
the
February
stress.
18th, 2 months later, he'd update the website with 40 empty triangles, which would update periodically to show a roster of animatronics for the upcoming Pizzeria Simulator extension, Ultimate Custom Night. He would update the website with progress on the game's development, featuring a picture of the new office, which was a pretty cool way to reveal
Programming
it.
characters.
Then, on June 27th, a few months later, the game was released. Then,
June
another long
27th,
period
2018.
of radio silence for
Jeez.
about 8 months. Though this wasn't to say that community wasn't active. People were busy with the 50-20 mode, which was a very difficult game mode in the new Ultimate Custom Night.
Daco
and
cried his heart
won
out.
an
Yep.
interview with Scott Cawthon for completing it. Then, the website was changed.
Completely blank.
On March 11th, 2019, we got promotional art for the next
Help
game
wanted.
being worked on by the newly involved Steel Wool Studios.
Everything's working as is.
for FNAF VR.
Everything is working
Help
as intended.
Wanted.
Stuttering a lot.
Everything is working as intended. Quote from Fazbear Entertainment. It also said, "Remember Jeremy" in some hidden text, which teased this new game might actually have been
So that's where the
canon,
Remember
despite
Jeremy
the
stuff came
definitive
from.
Story conclusion of the previous game. There were also some secret screenshots to be found. On FNAF's 5th anniversary, Scott would post this promotional art on his website announcing the next major
yeah.
installment to be released in 2020. We all know how that went, though. FNAFworld.com
Dang,
would
2021.
update to FNAF 57 Freddy in Space. At this point, Scott was just relishing in the memes. And on September 29th, it was updated to...
Classic Scott.
Seriously.
Yeah, that.
On the same day, Scott Games was updated to a closer silhouette shot of Lamrock Freddy, and on November 5th, it would be updated to include a faint silhouette of a bunny suit in the background. We know later
There's
that
Vanny.
this is Vanny. Then at some point, it would be updated to promote the new FNAF AR game, and later changed to more promotional art for the next major installment.
Yeah, let's go.
On March 24th, we got to see Monty, or Montgomery, confirmed the name of the file, and all of this culminated into a name drop for the new game, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Then there
June
came the
11th
long wait.
revealed Vanessa, and August 7th revealed Vanny, the villain.
Remember when
The
everyone
next
thought
day,
we were going to be
on the
playing as
6th
Vanny?
anniversary of Five Nights at Freddy's, more Security Breach teasers were posted, and these were the
Party
last teasers that
dance.
we received until the release of the game. At this point, it was obvious that Scott was already trying to take more of a back seat in the series' development, being less and less involved, as Steel Wool Studios seemed to be doing most of the heavy lifting following Ultimate Custom Night's release. June 2021 came, and after a controversy where Scott received many serious threats online over his political affiliation, Scott finally decided that it was time for him to retire.
Man,
Thank you
I miss
so much.
these old
See
days,
you
man.
On the flip side.
I miss those old days, man.
Then, to this day, the website is just black.
Yeah.
Scott may be done with his major involvements in the games, but we'll always remember the beautiful franchise that he built.
My private
ground
FNAF 2
up
gameplay
blood,
9
sweat,
years
and
ago.
tears
I
just
can't
like
conserve
us.
battery.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Editing this
will
section is
forever
hitting my
go
nostalgia
down
like a
in
truck.
horror
Man.
Video game history.
It's making me think.
Thank you so much for watching. See you on the flip side.
All right. Yeah, Mina AXA really made a banger this time again. So, yeah, guys, if you guys want me to react to more of Mina AXA content, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe for more to Becoming History today. Let me know your favorite memories of FNAF in the comments down below. I'll see you later after someone has to interrupt my video 5 more times in a row.